5 statements about marriage, about the long lasting marriage and the condition of marriage by mostly men, based on the video that I did where I said we shouldn't celebrate long marriages because many of them are tumultuous. Many of them don't like each other. And I was very specific about the types and the kinds where the people really just don't like each other. And I got these comments from men and really gave me concern about some of these men and their ideas about marriage. Like, for instance, and I'm gonna go through all 5 real quick. But for instance, this gentleman is saying that basically, like I said, people are living at a misery level that they can deal with. He's kind of a proponent of that. He's in a sense saying that people tolerate marriage like you tolerate a job. Like, if you keep going to the job, you're supposed to just keep on tolerating that job. I think that's ridiculous, which is why, yes, if I don't like the job, like I used to be an IT guy, I hated IT. So I worked myself into a position where I can get out of IT and still make just as much money as I was making in IT. There's no reason for me to stay there, especially when companies don't give you the retirement that you're looking for anymore. So therefore, if the marriage is not giving you the retirement that you're looking for, why are you still there? But he's saying that people got to have this balance, this holistic balance about the relationship so you can stay in the relationship in a state of misery. Why? That makes no sense whatsoever. And saying that black people don't have this? Come on, man. This is people in general. This is people in general. It's not just black people. Don't play that card because people are divorcing each other left and right because they're not happy with the relationship. We have to learn how to be happy. And it seems that happiness is the thing that these people just don't want to include in marriage. And why can't marriage be a fairy tale? Now, I understand, yes, it takes work. Of course it does. The beginning of the marriage is actually starts the day you get married, and you have to work at it constantly to make sure that the marriage stays healthy. Sure, there are going to be some ups and there are going to be some downs, but you should be having more ups. And here's the thing. When you know the things that keeps your marriage vibrant and happy and you start to see it slide, the Hermetic law of polarity says that in order to polarize that marriage, that rhythm, that you want to quickly notice it and get back to the happy. Now, things change. So you have to be willing to work on what has changed over the years in order to keep the marriage more to the right of happiness and not swinging down to hate or swinging down to contentment. So yes, it's work. And no, it's not perfect. You're right about that. But it can become an effing fairy tale if you decide to make it an effing fairy tale. Now, I'm going to say that Humpty Dumpty here had a great fall. And Humpty Dumpty, English is not his first language. So I'm going to ignore the grammar here. And he's saying that they sacrificed their happiness so the children could be raised in the family. What good does it do to raise a child in a dysfunctional family? To raise a child in a family where the husband and the wife don't show love to one another, that they're not celebrating one another, they're not supporting one another. What have you done to that child? Oh, they have their mother and their dad. But then they go out and they don't understand how to have a great relationship. And so they go and get with someone else's child who maybe they were raised by a single mother or they were raised by divorced parents where both parents were thoroughly involved in their child's life. You see, I am living proof that you do not have to have both parents in the house in order to learn how to have a loving relationship. My children are proof because me and their mother got divorced when my oldest was 12, and my children know how to have a healthy relationship. You know why? Because we communicated with them and worked as a team throughout their entire upbringing, letting them know that, hey, things happen. But if you want to avoid the similar situation, you have to be on this mindset. You have to constantly be thinking of and doing what makes that relationship stay at a higher vibrational pattern to the right so that the frequency is always up. And when it does start to move down, you kick it right back up. And you saying that man can move on woman too much baggage. A man can move on, but a woman has too much baggage. Then that person needs to work on themselves. Men have to work on themselves after they leave a marriage, and so do the women. And at all times, if you have children involved in the marriage, then you have to make sure that the kids are not being affected by whatever feelings you have towards your ex. That your kids had nothing to do with you and your ex breaking up. And so don't use the kids as weapons. And it's easier said than done, but it can be done if you are mature enough and you actually love your kids and you don't want them to repeat your situation. But even with a single mother or a single father, you can raise healthy children to have healthy relationships. And this statement was just dumb. This was just dumb. Marriage is not about happiness. You're not supposed to care about being happy in a marriage. Yo, dude, this is not back in the day where people married for economic levels, economic growth. This is not, we're trying to bring two kingdoms together, and because we're going to stop warfare. We live in a time frame, and has been for a very long time, where people, for at least about almost 100 years, where people do marry to be happy, for love. And that should be the thing that we move forward with, is marrying through happiness and love and romance and support and community and commitment. Those are the things that we should be looking for in marriage, not, it's just, are you a good baby maker? Are you a good protector? Are you a good provider? Are you a good cook? Do you come with 5 cows and 10 horses and 3 baby goats? This is not, we don't live in that time. So unless you live in some country where arranged marriages are still the thing, then your thought process is way off. And I know even here in America, there are still sects of people who, like the Hasidic Jews, they still marry. A lot of them still have arranged marriage. People who are here from India, they still have arranged marriage. And I'm talking about that in person next comment. But you should strive to be happy in a relationship. Why do you want to share your life with someone that you're not happy with? Share your house, share all your intimate thoughts and things with someone you're not happy with. This is dumb. And finally, this person, marriage is about duty, not your happiness. What is wrong with these men who are commenting these stupid ideas? And he's talking about arranged marriages, stay together, and he bets that they're happier. No, my guy, let me tell you, I spent time in a lot of countries where there's arranged marriages, and it is not that they stay together because they're happy. Most of the time, the marriages are very dysfunctional. Most of the time, the women are abused. And in most of those situations, the culture still sees a divorced woman as a pariah, and still her ability to even get a divorce, and getting a divorce, period. Like in countries like India, to get a divorce is very difficult. In a lot of African countries, to get a divorce is very difficult. You can't just go get one like you do here in America. But most of these people are still seen as pariah, and the communal thought process on a divorced person is very negative. So they stay in dysfunctional marriages, and for that reason. And that is the only reason why their divorce rate is so much lower than, say, America, where it's around 40%, and in a place like India, where it's around 3%, because it's a different culture and a different mindset, and they're not happy. Trust and believe. They're in dysfunctional relationships. This is why a lot of them, when they come to America or they go to Europe, and they realize that they don't have to stay married, and that the stigmatism is not there, many of them then do get divorced, because now they can have the freedom to do so. But many of these places don't. But your idea of marriage is a duty, if that's the case, then why should you choose somebody that you are in love with? Just go choose somebody and say, hey, you look like you can birth some good NBA players, or you smart, you might birth the next genius or something like that. Why don't you just put, you should just marry for economic and birthing rights, and that's about it. Otherwise, but if that's your statement, that's your thought process, you might want to leave most people alone. Just stay away from them, because ladies, I'm sorry. I know it's just 5 men out of a plethora of men, but those 5 got on my nerves. But you guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.